Welcome to Voir DIY, the software that integrates both the intuitive and the analytical processes used during courtroom jury selection and immediately calculates rank order for your decision making based solely upon your preferences. Let's start by reviewing the main menu. The top shelf contains the information entry sections and also the very important screen in the court. The second shelf contains valuable information for you, including after the jury has been selected, used to fine-tune your delivery to the selected jury based upon their common characteristics and the common characteristics of your opponent's strikes. This section of the knowledge base utilizes the combined knowledge of both trial attorneys and behavioral researchers. After the jury has ruled contains the area you will use to download anonymous case information to the National Database Repository for future use if you are participating in this option. The next section, containing the books lying on their side, are reference materials on how the program works and a little bit about how Voir DIY came about. The bottom shelf contains an annotated table of contents in the folder and all the academic help pages, another extremely valuable resource exclusive to Voir DIY. The phone will link to immediate help resources. The What No Notes section explains the difference in traditional jury selection procedures and how this program helps to carry out the same functions. The Welcome sign offers some of the simplest instructions for getting started. Now we're going to cover the information entry sections. Enter case information is where you'll start, and this is primarily for your own reference. You can type anything you want into these fields and it will be, the program will save it. The drop-down menus provide standardized categories for the National Data Repository. Now, no personal information is ever conveyed through the repository. The data repository will be a first-of-its-kind database for Voir DIY users and other subscribers to review common jury characteristics correlated with actual jury decisions by case types and locations nationwide. So when you're done entering your information, click Done. I'll show you a screen that's been done. Okay, here's a case that everything has been entered. And make sure you choose if you're representing the plaintiff or the defendant. You just choose it by selecting the check mark. Okay. Let's review the Select Criteria page. By Select Criteria, we mean the information that you ordinarily collect about prospective jurors, such as age, gender, education, background check, etc. We call these criteria. First of all, you have the option to start fresh, load previously created criteria, or go back to the home page, and we're going to start fresh. That takes you to the Select Criteria page. These criteria here are all part of the program and will always be available for you to choose from. That's a nice time saver. When you click the check mark, it turns green. That's how you choose it. So we'll select those, we'll choose those, and then we'll click Done. Now that takes us to the Edit Your Criteria page. These are the criteria that we've chosen. Each criteria needs to be edited, so we will leave the label and the keywords as they are. The keyword is very important because it does become the header, the heading of your report. So for this criteria, for instance, we could change it to say gender if we wanted to. So we will change that. And we'll say that it's crucial to our case. For the characteristics, we've determined that for this case that someone who is male is very desirable and someone who's a female is very undesirable. And then not listed is obviously not very relevant for this category. So we just click Done. And that will take us back
to the next one, which is education. And we go through each one choosing if education is little importance, then we also choose that we would like perhaps people who are educated. So we just go through the list and choose those. And then we come to the next, which is age. We'll say that one's crucial. In this case, if we've decided that we want someone who's retired, that would be a more beneficial juror for our case. Then again, we do the same kind of ranking here and click done. And you do this for each one of the criteria that you've selected. Okay, now this brings us back to the main page. We have the ability to show the crucial and the very important criteria in the courtroom screen. So we're going to choose to do that, and it will show up in our screen when we're in the courtroom. Now we can also create criteria. So we go to create, and let's say, do you own a dog? Make sure to put your keyword, very important. This is going to be very important, and we'll add a characteristic, and that will be yes, and we would consider it in this circumstance for it to be desirable. So we add another characteristic, and that will be no, and we consider that to be very undesirable. So now we're done. And then you can see it shows up here, own dog, very important. We will click done, and it takes us back to the main screen. Now we're going to look at write questions. In this screen, you will have the ability to add the questions you wish to ask the panel during jury selection and their level of importance to your case. This will allow for quick one-touch scoring of the answers to your questions while in court. Here again, you have the choice of starting fresh or opening questions you've previously written. We're going to start fresh. So you just click and type in your question. Do you like to travel? You can change the font size here. And remember to add your keyword. This will again become the heading on your report, and it will be bold in the question. Choose your importance, very important or crucial. We'll choose crucial, and we'll click done. Okay, now we have a question. There's our keyword. And if we wanted to edit it, we would click here on the pencil. Let's go to the question bank and look at some questions. Now these are from our practice case, Lee versus Grant, 1867. So they kind of reflect that era. But let's choose, were you in a conflict? Have you ever visited a hospital? And we'll just click done. Now they've come into our questions here. And we're going to go ahead and edit those because we want to make sure they're reflecting the importance level. So we're just going to change that. We'll say this is very important, not crucial. And we'll go in and we'll edit this one, and we'll say this one's very important. And we can also change the order here. If this is something that we'd like to have right up at the top, we'll just change the order right there. Now, very important, this screen is view and edit greeting. Now we know that when you're in court and it's a high pressure situation, it's good to have material in front of you, and this screen will be available in the courtroom. So you can put your greeting to the jury, introduce what your case is about, have all your notes in here, and then it'll be available to you in the courtroom. Now when you're done with your questions, let's go over print emergency kit. This will print out in case very important documents that you've entered here, list of your questions, various parts of the program that you'll need in court, just like you had taken your own notes. And that's in case there's a power outage in the courthouse, or your laptop breaks or something happens. You can print an emergency kit out the night before so you're sure that you have all your notes with you in case you're not able to use your computer. And then making most of your data is a help file. So we're going to close out of the question screen and come back into the library. Next is the data entry screen. And here, the staff member of your office who normally gathers the information on each potential juror will fill in this section of the software. And I'm going to show you from the practice case what it looks like when it's all filled in. They'll be able to quickly and easily enter information, the potential juror's name, the alert. The alert is very important. This is information unique to that potential juror, and it will show up in the courtroom screen while you're questioning panel members. And an example might be felon or cousin of the judge, something that you definitely want to have on hand, information about that potential juror. So we'll just click cancel out of here, and I'll show you a screen that's been done. Okay, this has already all been entered, and this is what it'll look like. Here's a list of the potential jurors, and then each one you can either delete or edit. So when you go to edit, you'll see that this one has an alert. He was a carpetbagger. You want to remember that. The education, you can see all the criteria are here with their characteristics, and that's why it's so quick and easy for this data entry once you enter those initial values. Now these will all be weighted according to your preferences. And this is where Voir really shines, because where you've previously used notes, we take all the meaningful information and compile it into this easy to view and edit format. And now a mathematical value based on the importance you assign to the criteria is applied. Now here you can also look at your report, and this shows the initial ranking based on the criteria and their characteristics as they were added into the program. So that's your initial ranking order even before you've asked any questions. Really, really awesome. It's the first time this has been done in any type of courtroom software. And the alerts show up over here, so you can, and they'll also show up in the courtroom screen. So when you're done with entering your prospective jurors and their criteria and characteristics, you click Done. Takes you back to the library. Ready to Court is an page of information that helps you prepare for using Voir DIY in the courtroom. It's got all the information, everything from A to Z that you need to review before you walk into the courtroom.